La la. Yo. Hello, chat. Hello, chat. Hi, Erie. Thank you so much for 17 months of resubbies. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Hiyo, hiyo. Oh, hiyo, konbanwa. Got my money and my bitch. I love this song. I'm addicted right now. Hello, Big of Feelings. Hello, Lifeform. Hello, Eerie. I think I saw Perky earlier. Hello, Perky. Perky's perking. Perky. Dancing to the bank. Donna. We just accidentally found out that our server is running on paper. You. I'll definitely get with Trey, Erie, and mess with it later and fix it. So that you can get on the roof for the nether. You're reviving to Electric Hallway. We love Electric Hallboy. They're the greatest. The Beast. The Beastest. Alright. Minecraft. How's everybody doing today? Happy Friday! Want to slay the dragon? No. I will die. A lot. I am not a dragon slayer. Built this house. Take my picture now. Shake it till you see it. Where's my borderless thing? There it is. Place in your house of memories. Whoa, whoa. Good, how you been? I'm alright. I actually feel a little doo-doo today. But I'm in a better mood than I was on Tuesday. Then I had an interesting encounter with a client at work this week. So, seems to be going around. Yeah. Well, mine is more of the female variety and less of the spreadable illness variety. But, you know. It do be going around, though. A lot of people have been getting sick or they have allergies. Allergies. They have to nose wiggles. Ah, yippers. Yep. 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 But we're gonna play Minecraft and everything will be okay. You got your first sketches in yesterday? Let's go. That's fun. Exciting. Woohoo. Pretty much just worked all week. I'm really tired. You're excited? Yay! Yippee! Wait. Yippee! There you go. Yippee! Memories. Take your picture now. Shake it till you see. Oh no. Oh no. Don't look. Don't look, guys. It's okay. You saw nothing. I did build this a little house. It's a tent. It would be dark. Here then. Hello. I'm going to One sec, chat. Shit, I can't type. I can't type and I can't read, apparently. Anyway. Sorry. I'm having a moment. Alright, I'm gonna go get in VC. There we go. We might have visitors. Brown is night. I slept. Boop. They're gonna be going to have a dead. You're gonna go kill the dragon? Oh my god. The end. So this is our little tent that I built. We're gonna go over here across the bridge so you can see it in all of its glory. I also built this bridge. I think I started that on the last stream. I started the bridge. Bridge is done. Oh. Eerie went to the end and now we're lagging. There's tent. Look at it. Isn't it neat? I thought it was pretty neat. I tried to use different colors and textures to make it interesting. Maybe it just looks like a mess. I don't know. I was trying to channel my inner B-dubs. My inner B-double-O. I don't know if it worked. I might have went overboard with the orange. But it's okay. So the next thing I need to do, though, is I need to pick a spot to build a bigger version of this for the villagers. Because Red is getting villagers at some point. I think he already has them hiding somewhere. Oh no, Eerie! Oh no! Oh no, Eerie. Rip. My shovel will break soon. Need shovel. She was too much! I know, you poor thing. It is on hard mode. I don't know if that affects the dragon at all. Couldn't handle her. Oh no. Thwarted. Are you gonna be able to get your stuff back? We do have gravestones on. Shinies. I need one of these. Unless you make spoon. Where Sticks is over here. Sticks. Bink. Spoon. So I think what's in this cave? Is there anything in this cave? What if we... So what if I cut all these trees down and fill this in? I could put another big tent here for the villagers. I'm gonna do that. This is all temporary. I'm planning on building a little village on this cliff over here across the way. I haven't had time to plan it out the build yet, so yeah, it's gonna be a bit. So in the meantime, we need things. So I am going to cut all these trees down. Because this tent will have to be bigger than our home base tent. So I need to make it a big tent. Huge, gigantic, enormous. I'm gonna need a bunch of dirt. No, Eerie! Doomed. Not Doom. Not me. He has bed, don't worry. Okay. That's good. I'm assuming you respawned in the fortress then? Is fortress? Is that what it's called? Do. Yee! Alright. Surely there's a bunch of dirt around here somewhere. Here's some. It won't be enough. I think Red has a bunch of dirt somewhere because he dug a big old hole. Red abandoned me today, though. He abandoned me. Dirt. See, we're already down a stack. Take aim. Erie's just Minecrafting her little heart out. And I'm out of dirt. Let's see, can I see? What the heck? What is that? Let's go look. Oh, iron farm. Nice. Holy iron, Batman. We're stacked. Now the question is, where is all the dirt that Red had from a hole he was digging? Whoa, there's a whole operation going on down here. I swear he said there was a bunch of dirt around here. Where's Red? I'm gonna punch him. He might have used it all. Were you? Oh no. You was doomed to fall? Oh no. Don't fall. Don't fall, you potatoes. Wah. Don't cry. It's okay. Cat. Cat. Brown. Oh, I forgot I had the animations on now. Look at them. Look at them. They're so cute. Oh, it's so cute. What's this? Oh, we got a little enchanting spot set up. Car. Cat. I slip. Suburban. Yeah. I probably need like 2 more stacks of dirt. Let's just go get some from somewhere. No, Eerie! No! Stuck under the tree! Ow! My hip like I'm a cop. Rockstar. I just heard a zombie. I'll take that. Thank you. I don't know where to take dirt from. Oh, there went my spoon. Let's take random dirt from random places. So it's less obvious that somebody came and stole dirt. No, Eerie! Eerie just keeps dying over and over to the dragon. Eerie, it's okay. You can wait for more people. It's alright. Get your stuff. Run away. Eeg. Speed running for real. Hi, Mac. What are you doing, Mac? Do I have enough dirt yet? Whoa! She did it! Yes, we know. We heard. Oh, oh, I fell in this hole. Hole. Oh my gosh, there's a big cave down here. Geek, good job. I told her to wait. I did just now. You kept dying, so I was like, just wait for more people. Oh no. Not the disappointed Mac. Mac's sad now. Ow. No. 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 Bad zombie. Bad. That was rude, sir. I don't know how I ended up in this cave. That's 2 times on DC. Yeah, but we've all been at work all day. So, some people might not have a chance to respond. Ooh. Where is he hiding? Oh. Ow! Oh, sparklies. It's okay. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Oh. Ow. No. I was having a moment with that creeper. Why are you attacking me? We were just looking at each other, you know? We was chilling. Look at him. He blunk. He's a blunker. Blunk. Oh, there's some spitters. Oh, I think he was stuck on those. Boom! Sparkles. Ooh. There's a lot of creepers down here. Let's go. Why are there so many creepers? There's like really a lot of them. Like a lot of them. Alright, time to go. Too many creepers for me. Hi, Wombat! How were you? You have 3 streams going at once? Nice. I am lagging a lot because Erie's in the end. Some people streaming today? Yeah, it's Friday. It'd be like that on Fridays. Hmm. Ba, ba, ba. I eat. Nom 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 nom. Potatoes! I wish I had a potato. I like potatoes. Alright. So I'm going to do something similar to this one. Let me find the picture. Images. They do be all doing the streaming, right? What are you up to, Mac? I just need some. I just need some space. I just need some. Yes, you. Taking a chill break. Nice. I just need some. That's kind of the same as the one I have. So I want this one's bigger. Space. Is gonna be huge. Maybe I can map it out with dirt. Map out the base part with dirt. Let's see. I just need some. I just need some space. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Like that. I just need some. Hello? Egg. Whoa! I has an egg. What do I do with egg? Do I eat egg? Nom nom. I can't type. I know what you meant. Look at your shield. Egg. 3. And then 2. Right? 2, 3. 3, 2, 1. Hey, Mom, I wrote you some soft songs. 1, 2. 1, 2. It's lagging a lot. My ears? I wear my ears. No ears. I has ears. Wesk asks for ears. You have to you have to make them with the template thingy for the mod. I can't remember what it's called. Mac, what do you remember the actually it's in the chat. It's in the chat. Somewhere. It's called ears. I think it's called ears and tails. That sounds gay. I'm in. Let's go. But there's like a place you can go. You need like a template thingy, majiggy. And here it is. I will pin it. Pin. Oh yeah, pin it. Alright, it's in the pinned messages in the friend chat. Eerie. Bed. I jump. Boing, boing, boing. Whee! Horse. What's this? Spectral arrow. Oh, it's gonna shoot my regular arrows first. Yeah, they're from the piglings? Oh. What do spectral arrows do? They glow the mob? Oh. So you can see them? Starting in my heart, reaching a fever pitch, bringing me out the dark. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Oh! 4. There's a fire starting in my heart, reaching a fever pitch, it's bringing me out the dark. Alright, this is the outline for our next tent. Just gotta figure out what colors I want to make it. And hopefully it'll be enough to store at least a few villagers. If we could have had it all. I have to figure out what color scheme I want to use. See, we has a pink and orange one. I have no story to be told. What's a good color scheme I could do for the other tent? Drink something. Okay. Fungi. You asked me about joining the server and then never gave me your in-game name so that I could whitelist you. Thinking that we almost had it all. The scars of your love that leave me red. Yeah, sucker. Okay. No. Oh my god. That scared me. Console / white list. Add fungi dust. There you go. Meh. Alright, it has Diet Pepsi. That's what I'm drinking. It's kind of flat. Oh, lit. Like the band? I like lit. It was totally not me, for real, for real. You are a liar, Eerie. Do not lie. You cannot lie to me. It was totes you. Totes. Now I can grief Red. No, you can't. Red and I share a base. We're all kind of based together, actually. This is our starter area. And then, see these cliffs over here? I'm going to build a village on those cliffs. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be bootyful. Oh, time to go slip. Must slip. Look at these flowers. They open in the dark. See? Look. It gets nighttime and they open. Look how cool. Excuse me. Look how cool. Whoa. Berries. I'm gonna put the egg in the refrigerator so it doesn't go bad. There you go. Just in case we don't want to cook it right away. Shattered dreams. We have an iron farm. Maybe we should make our next tent cyan and something. Cyan and gray? Glub. Whoa. Hey, Eerie. Can I send you on a mission? Salmon Cult invites you. Okay. I will salmon. I like salmon. The mission shall be heard. I need some I need some of that blue wood from the nether. Like a few stacks. And then what other color should we do? Cyan and okay, yeah, look at terracotta. That's crazy. Looks good with sand. So we can do sandstone, lava cast everywhere. Lava cast? Wait, what's a lava cast? Boom, 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 boom. 2B2T moment. Oh. Lava bucket. A pyramid of lava? What? That sounds scary. That sounds like I don't want to do that. Oh, good job, Siri bot. All right, so we'll do sandstone. Ooh, we could do some calcite. Cheapest food. Oh my gosh. Thank you. I do have some calcite. I'm probably gonna need more than 2 stacks though. Use some more. And then I'll probably still use these for the base. Ooh, I also have this. The problem is that the fabric part of the tent won't look like fabric anymore. Which might be kind of stinky. Ooh, goodness! Got the yunzes. I have to figure out what color fence I'm gonna use. Oops. And a cyan. But what if I want cheapest? What if you want cheap slut viewers? Alright, this would be okay. We'll use the extreme texture, the wood, the bark part of the warped wood. That'll probably be okay, right? I just don't know what fence to use. Well, we'll figure it out as we go. We're winging it. No longer know. People who don't wing it never fly. You know what? That's so true. Oh my gosh. You're so right, Mac. I'd die for you. I need more jungle planks. Jungle planks. No jungle planks? I might need these as well. The year? Just like 99% of gamblers quit before their big break, right? Damn quitters. What's wrong with them? I need more of these too. I don't need this oak. I don't know. Phone call. Oh my gosh, Mumbo's base. That was like half broken bow. Away. Mumbo, 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 AFK. I'm gonna take that mustache away. My aunt is calling me. She's gonna have to wait. I don't want that much birch. Mustache away. Whoops. I did the wrong thing. I meant to do this, not that. I meant to do this. Get mustache away. Mumbo. Whoops. I deserve this. I try to make you happy. to forget that I'm addicted to you. You are? Oh my god. I'd say I can't believe it, but. Addicted to you. And after all we've been through, still a dick, I'm addicted to you. I'd run 1,000 miles to get you. Do you think I deserve this? I tried to make you happy. I'm trying to forget that. Alright, base. Base complete. Base of tent completed. Excuse me. I need to... Also, there's an ad starting. Alright, I need to figure out a color fence. What color fence should I use, Mac? Be waiting until the end of time. I don't know why I'm still waiting. Da-ear. Oh, da-ear, Mac. Mac is a da-ear. Mac da-ear. They're gonna close up, watch. Just give it a second. Hello? Down closed. We're gonna stay open? Are you okay? This flower is broken. Heartbreaker. Heartbreaker. Yeah, broken. Broken flower is busted. Boing, 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 boing. Alright, fence. Why can't I see fence? Stupid. The car is broken. Lando Norris? Who's Lando Norris? F1 driver. Oh. You know what? We should have got that stupid data pack that unlocks all the recipes so you can see everything. Because I think because I don't have sticks in my inventory, it's not letting me see the fence recipe. Like... Why is it not showing me the fence? Is it because I'm not at the crafting table? That's why, isn't it? I'm stupid. Never mind, I'm just fucking stupid. Dumbass Chi right here. Okay. Oh, it's not gonna show me all of them. Well, that won't work. I'll show you game. How much do I want? Probably a few stacks. By a few, I mean like 5, maybe? Of logs. No. Let's see. How much? One log makes 4 planks, right? Yes. So a stack of logs makes how many? I can't do math. Let's see. So wait. Yeah. So a stack of logs makes a ton of planks. But I also need logs, so a couple stacks, I guess. 2 or 3 should be plenty, I think. Is that too much? I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out what color fence to use. Minecraft fences. Images. Let's see. What about a pink fence? What about a cherry wood fence? No. Maybe dark oak. Dark oak would be good contrast. And I think I know where there's a dark oak forest. It's over by the pale forest. Over here. Right there's dark oak. So I'm gonna go over there. I think. Or is that more jungle? Maybe more jungle, actually. But they spawn in the dark oak forest. We're gonna go that way and see what happens. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go empty my inventory. And go to the dark oak forest. Everywhere. I'm gonna steal this chest. Yoink. And this crafting table. Yoink. It's raining. It's raining men. Hallelujah. Raining man. Raining man. Hey boys, I know. I got this soda. I put all this in here. I'll probably need some more of this too, maybe. Nah, I'll probably be alright. I'll probably be alright. I'll probably be okay. Alright, I'm gonna need another axe. For chopping the woods. Chopping the woods. Chop the wood. Chop the wood. I have sticks. I need some iron. Some shinies. Wonder if she'll be mine. And I got the soda. Remember, boys, they know us. Wrong one. Turned all iron into block of iron. Cool. But what if? Axe needed. Sits. Alright. Now I am ready. I'm ready to go on a little adventure. I'm gonna steal one of Erie's beds. Just in case I need it. On your way? I'm leaving. He has wood. Ooh, leggy itch. Ooh. Whoops, wrong button. Hello, cow. Can't tell if just rain or also getting nighttime. I don't want to be in the pale forest in the rain or the nighttime. 'Cause it's freaking scary in there, yo. Chicken. Hello, sheep. There are zombies. Monsters nearby. Ow! Dang. He just hit me and ran away, you jerk. No. Sucker. Wood. That sheep just crawled all over me. What a jerk. Alright, this is a jungle. Wood. I need dark oak. I thought pale forests spawned near dark oak forests. Is that not a thing? I thought that was a thing. There's two big mushrooms. Maybe you go that way. Shared location from Overworld. Oops, I keep hitting M for map and it's not. Ah, yeah, that was one I was just gonna go to. Alright. I gotta go this way. The pale forests are really cool. I don't want to go by myself at night though. Burb! Hello, Burb. More burbs and a chicken. Look, they're friends. Hello. You're cute. You're pretty blue. Yeah. Ship. Bum, 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 bum. Mentally ill. Oh. Oh! Bamboo prison. I'm stuck. Can't get no peace of mind. Overthinking every. There's a mushroom. Aha! Ooh, cave. Whoa, that's a long way down. These caves are intense, bro. Overthinking all the time. Wood. Watashi wa sta. Sta, 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 sta. Okene kaseku. Watashi wa sta, 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 sta. Kira, kira. Watashi wa sta. Oh no! Can't break tree with dirt block. One. Was that the only? Oh no, there's another one. There's some more. Kasegu, watashi wa sta. Kira, kira. Excuse me, sheep. What are you doing? This is my tree, sucker. Get out of here. See that sheep? He was trying to steal my shit. Get out of here! Oh, I didn't mean to kill him. My bad. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean to kill your friend. I'm so sorry. Not really. But I'm sorry. Kind of. But not really. But a little bit. Okene kaseku. Watashi wa sta. Kira, kira. Watashi wa sta. Oh. This is Erie's song. Papapakataka. Ababa. Make sure nothing fell down there. Let's see if that's enough. Papa, papa, patakara, pa, papa, papa, patakara, pa, papa. Oh, that's not base. That's the wrong way. I want to go towards this way. See, this is why I need a map. I get lost. Good thing I didn't go too far before I realized I was going the wrong way. Whoa, it's another big cave. Ooh, spoopy. I jump. Bah. Stupid tree. Get off my head. Whoa. I'm gonna go this way. Woof woof. What are you barking at, Lola? Lola says, oof oof. Woof 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 woof. Oh no, I'm starting to lag again. Whenever I get close to a base, I start lagging. Why is that? Oh, well, that could be part of it. Eerie! The heck? How am I supposed to get up there? How am I supposed to get up there and break all these? What? You stinker! You're a stinker. Lola. Alright, let's see what Lola's barking at. I return. I don't know what she was barking at, but seems to be nothing. Oh, I need much more sticks. What happened? Fire resistance? What? Are you gonna set me on fire? Please don't! I think Erie's gonna set me on fire, you guys. Wait, does that mean I can do this? I am the Fire Lord. Praise me. Whew! Scared me. Erie glows now. Here, I got you this. Ping. I'm asleep. Surge protector. Wait, does that mean you got struck by lightning? Protect a villager from an undesired shock without starting a fire. Huh? Wait, so somehow I prevented a villager from starting a fire? Wait, we stopped a villager from an undesired shock. Whatever that means. Oh. Oh my god. Pony. There's a bunch of saddles in here if you want one for a skelly horse. Forgot how many up I went. 3. I know. No. Stupid. Stupid game. Good ones go. I don't think actually one is supposed to go here. If I remember correctly. No! Stupid fence. I heard the arrow, but I don't see the arrow. I feel like it's really lagging a lot today. Which is kind of crazy. Steel arrow. Go. That's probably pretty close. Nope, not even close. She's too high up. No! Ouchie! My arrows. I'm taking these now. They're mine. Got it! You're a stinker. Glock tuck, big t-shirt, Billie Eilish. Diamond. Silence. Glock tuck, big... You added a ladder? Okay. Perspective. Huevo? It is in with the food. Wee! 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 Big t-shirt, Billie Eilish. Whoa, this is really high up. Glock tuck, big t-shirt, Billie Eilish. Barrel. Ooh, potato! Oh, I think we're done lagging now. Jump in the Cadillac, let's put some miles on it. Just to put a smile on it. Ladders. Horse. Eerie is hiding in the ground. Hi, horse. Poor fella. Look at you. You're all skin and bones. Is it you? Is it me? Oh, there is one on this side, too. Okay. I'm gonna give it to you. Alright. I have so much stuff in my inventory now. On your mind. Alright, now I need to empty my inventory. Oh, Airy back. Oh, oh. Oh, I'm on a horse. I accidentally got on a horse. Bowie. Neat. Plant. Right. Eepin. Zuz. A zuzz. Eep. I upped. I did the eeps. Alright, now I have room in my inventory. I also need this. Eventually. Alright, I need... Actually, let's just do this. And get some of these. Alright. I hope I have enough stuff. Keep up. Come on. I know. Oh, oh! I looked up. Let's see. I think I do one more layer. Carrot. Yes. Oh shoot, what do I do with my fences? Right there. What y'all trying to do? What y'all trying to do? What y'all trying to do? Gonna go carrot magic in the air. So there. I look up. I burp. Excuse me. Ra-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. It's a banger. I can push you to the limit. Oh, I missed. I don't know what I thought I was gonna do. Whoops. Here for the bed. Ra-ta-ta-ta. Oh. Just running around without doing anything. That's alright. I'm not really doing anything exciting either, honestly. I just build into building. Whoops. Yoro Papa. Oh no. I can't go that way. Uru Papa. Uru Papa. Uru Papa. Friends of France. Netherlands. Alright, and then another layer of wood color. Oh, my lights just flickered. Uru Papa. Let me just check the weather real quick. We are supposed to get more thunderstorms tonight, so. What's that until 2 a.m.? I'm not ute fruiten. Na 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 na. Uru papa. Papa. Europa. Uru papa papa da pa da. Pa. Just looking good. I like the white and cyan. Looks nice. What are you doing up there? Get off of Fungi and Perky. Get off of them. That's not nice, hoss. How dare you? I don't have a lead. If I had a lead, I would take you away. Juan. What's his name? Juan. Do you want to put Juan over there in the stable with the other horse? Hunts? Hunts. Head shake. Do you have fresh animations on, Eerie? Hun the Dun? New? You should. Are you using the Mac mod pack? It's in there. You just have to go into the... Oh. You just have to go into the... Using your own... Oh, I got you. I'm using one that Mac put together. And it has the fresh animations in the resources, in the resource pack. Ah. Chat. Slip. But fresh animations is updated for the update. Pre-made configs? Oh no. I have spicy dill pickle chips. Mmm, crunch. Ow! Fire! Alright. Abracadabra. Abracadabra. You love my shaders? Why don't I have any shaders on? I think the shaders are off right now. Also, hi, Leona. How are you? Welcome in. I can turn on my shaders, though. Let's see. I think I'm just high. You know what? That's fair. Here you go. Now shaders. Ooh, ah. La la. I had to check if you were 18 up before I said that. Yeah, these are nice. This is the BSL shaders. Hold on, we're gonna go far away over here across the bridge. And then we're gonna look at the tent. Ready? Ooh. So pretty. Bop, bop, bop. Those are ones I have actually. I just haven't played in a minute. Yeah, BSL's good. I used to use the Silders ones, but I think they've been kind of buggy lately. So people haven't really been using them as much, I think. You're gonna send me your favorite one? Okay. Excuse me. Bop, 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 bop. There's actually, I have a few different ones. Because not only did I think the normal was shaders, but I was gushing over the same shaders I use. Oh. It'd be like that sometimes. These ones are gnarly looking. These ones are called Render Pearl. These ones are really wild looking. If you thought you were high before. Not recently. I've had this one for a month or two now. I used to be. Let's see if I can do it. I've been able to catch your stream for a hot minute, so that might be it. Oh, okay. So I used to be. Let's see if it's still in here. Eerie be trapping me. Nope, not this one. This is my old one. So I used to have this one. This is my really old one. This was my first pre-made. And then I had this one. That was the one you remember? That was this one. This is the one I was right before the one I have now. Ba, ba, ba. Oh, I can't remember which one it is now. I think I used the 2K one. Oh, so hot. Crunch. That look great. Which is your favorite? I really like this one. They're all good models. They're all pre-made, so they were very affordable. But I really like the rigging on this one the best, I think. But they're all good. All the artists are amazing. They're all really nice. And they're all really talented. What is this? Here you put me inside a rock. Basalt. Rock. Yeah, I was just thinking I should probably light up around here. Looks like you already did it though. Alright, so then there's these shaders that are really weird looking. I don't know how to explain them. They kind of remind me of like alpha or something. Everything looks weird. Baby. Whoa! Eerie, you scared me. Oh, flower, thank you. I like flowers. Oh, there's an ad. I'm gonna eat chips. Ow. I have one more shader pack, but when I load that one, it tanks my FPS, so I'm not gonna load it. Crunch. Look at my shadow. Oh, and then I also have a mod that gives me bunny ears. I'm a bun. Drink. My Pessy all gone. All gone, Pessy. Sad. Eerie. I'm a bun. Alright, I'm gonna go grab a sign. Everybody dance now. Oh yeah, I can't read the signs with the shaders on. That's why I didn't have them on. I remember now. I forgot I was broken. Excuse me. Home for villagers. I might not be able to read that. uh, it's all because the side people can't see. Think about it. The truck. What? Ari, what are you talking about? Their danger? Huh? Logs and stuff? What? What are you talking about? I don't know what you're saying! Side people can't sniff them out as much as rear people? Wait, what do you mean? Who's a side people? What's a side people? Not as sharp. Front people are just not as sharp. What? What are you talking about? Erie, are you having a stroke? Are you okay? Final Destination 2 reference. Oh! I don't know what it means to be flopping around like a salmon. I mean, I know. What are you talking about? Oi. Oi. Headbutt. Headbutt. Thank you. Bone. She ran away. Salmon, you are a salmon. Flap. Glub glub. Wait, I have this face. Come here. Ready? Not glub. Scary. Rawr. Cracking, yeah. I'm a spoopy with bun ears. Rawr. We need to creak. I need to chip. Alright. Crunch. Yes, good. It's tasty. I love my chippies. Hello, hello. I'm not able to stay long. Just want to say hi since I haven't spoken here in eons. Hi, Bryson. Oh my God. I hope you're doing well. That's right. I'm actually about to end stream anyway. I'm feeling like I need to go lay on my heating pad for a while and watch some B-dubs. B-dub, yeah. So, Erie, I just watched the episode Hermitcraft spoilers for anybody in chat. I just watched the episode where B-dubs put all the horses in Joel's base. And then Joel recorded himself killing all of them and then sent the record to B-dubs. Yeah. So I just watched that one. The horns. Yes, the horse. Killed all the horses. He murdered them. Cold blood. That's what he did. STEM is just a lot. I have like 0 for them. Yeah, be like that, bro. I'm sorry. Make sure you take time for yourself. It's healthy to take time for yourself. Alright. We're gonna raid. Fun fact, in the Plastic Museum, there is a most horses killed place. Oh, that's weird. I know where we're going. Holy cow. Like on Hovercraft. Oh. Like I just popped up on stream for a second, meowed, and then was gone. Green's big world touring say, okay. I will transition to some of the other hermits soon, I think. Alright, we're gonna raid Fern. So scuffed, I don't know. We're gonna raid Fern though. She's playing Paper Mario: The 1,000-Year Door. So we're gonna go say hello to Fern. If you're a subby, you're gonna use the Chi Hearts. If you're not a subby, use the Nemo Pops. Pop, 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 pop. Pop, 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 pop. Alright. We'll say hi to Fern, and I'm gonna go lay down. And I love you. Thank you for hanging out. I love and appreciate all of you. Now get the fuck out. Goodbye. See you later. Goodbye. Goodbye.